Hello, here we are again with the Oneness Diversity Talks, and Chris is first going to reset her webcam. So yeah, we are used to this procedure by now, and I believe she's already coming back, or at least I think she's coming. Yeah, there she is. Hi, Chris.
Hello, there I am again.
So
Oh.
how are you?
I am fine. Yes, I am fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Good, good,
you?
good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Been busy, busy, busy in a good way. So, but also nice and relaxing. What did I do Saturday? I don't know, I actually forgot what I did Saturday. But yesterday I was hanging out on the pool, doing some shopping, hanging out
Oh,
with
that's
a friend,
terrible.
talking, yeah,
Terrible.
just relaxing.
Really.
Yeah.
That's a very heavy life.
Very bad life, yeah. It's very tough. I
Yeah.
got the response on Facebook. I posted a photo of my knee and you see the pool. And then someone was like, and I was like, yeah, work hard, play hard.
Yeah. And we are just sitting here with a sweater and and a vest.
Is it cold in Holland?
Today it was okay. No, it actually was quite a little bit warmer than usual, but it was very windy. It was a storm.
Oh, okay. I know here you can sense that we are going towards spring. So the days are very warm already. But
Oh,
luckily we still have cool nights. So it's sleeping is still great because I like a cold room when I sleep. So but you can feel that we're moving towards the warmer days coming ahead. And actually I look forward to it because I want to walk in my shorts and tops and not have to think about, oh, I have to put on trousers or take a vest with me when I go. No, and then I just can go and I don't need anything.
oh, wouldn't it be lovely?
Exactly, exactly. Well, it's the 13th of March. Yeah, in Holland, spring will. It's always a little bit like March can be beautiful, but it also can be really
Tricky.
unpredictable.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything nice to share with us? Like maybe you experienced something or experimented with something?
Yeah, I experiment with observing people and then observing yeah, their purpose and and it's very nice to see that actually you could really yeah, if they are they are not really in the flow, but there are some uh, yeah, it's not, I don't, well, I would not, yeah, there are problems, but it's obstacles or whatever, challenges. There are challenges for them, but I really can see what their purpose is, and that's very funny. It's very nice to observe that. It's very good, and then to understand them and to understand the dilemma, and by knowing the purpose and knowing the other one's purpose, and just, yeah, by knowing their purpose, knowing the dilemma. That's what, yeah, it's very vague, I know, but yeah, it is okay. It is nice to experiment with that, not to experiment only with myself, but also with observing other people.
But if you're talking about observing the purpose, then I am assuming that you know their purpose.
Yeah, yeah, I know the purpose. Yeah, 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 yeah. I did a paper reading and I know their purpose.
Okay.
So and then I can observe it, and then I say, "Oh, wow, this is why you do this, or this is why she does this, or whatever," you know.
Yeah, I get that. I actually have to say, I do that with people very close to myself, like my partner, but uh, with other people, when I read the purpose paper, the moment I'm done, I don't know anything anymore. I really have to reread their paper to, get it in my mind. And that's actually something that I do very purposefully, because in the old days, I would know everything about everyone and I remember everything. And what for me showed up was that it was very, um, how do you say that? Um, how do you say that? Knowing things from other people, it fueled my having expectations also from them. So at
Mm.
some point, I was like, what would happen if I just let go of all the information that I know about people, let it go again? And if things come up, things will come back in my mind. But I needed to do that, like a sort of detox idea, um, to get more in touch with myself. So that led actually to that, when I'm reading now for people, it goes one way, one I hear it and it goes out, and the next time they talk to me or something, and I'm like, they're like, yeah, this is in my purpose and that's in my purpose, and I'm like, oh, okay, because I just don't know it anymore. So, but it is, yeah, I can get totally that it is interesting to see how things show up for people and that it is related to their purpose, because then the whole uniqueness that they are, yeah, you get examples and you can see, okay, how does it show up for them. So yeah, that's nice. But is there something, because what comes up for me right away is, that's why I asked, did you do the purpose paper reading? Because what I notice with myself is that when I observe people now, I'm always like, hmm, would that be a blue energy field? Or maybe they are red, or maybe they have this inner truth or that inner truth. Is that something that you recognize? Do you do the same?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Not long ago, a few days ago, I watched a series on the television about about famous people in Holland, and this one was about Karin Bloemen. She's very famous in Holland. She's very famous, and me and Karin Bloemen, we have a history because when I was younger, I had a yeah. Now I know my teacher treated me very badly. He was the Dutch teacher teaching Dutch, and I was just authentically me. And he always called me Karin Bloemen. He always said, "You are Karin Bloemen. You are yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay." And then when I was a student, and I was when we had weekends, we usually go out on Fridays afternoon and then evening after we finish the week from school, from the study. And so I was at the pub, and suddenly someone came to me and said, "Ah, you are exactly like my friend." And I was looking at her and said, "Oh, yeah, no, okay. Nice to know." Nice to meet you. Nice to know. But she said, "Yeah, but you don't know who my friend is." I said, "No, I don't know, but I have the feeling you are going to tell me." "Yes," she said. "Yes, my friend is Karin Bloemen." I said, "Oh,
Serious?
okay. Yeah, serious."
Interesting.
She, she said, you are so much alike, and so when like I saw the how do you say aflevering episodes, yeah,
Episode. Yeah.
episodes. Yeah, I saw the episode with Karin Bloemen, and I was watching her, and I was looking, and I was saying, oh yeah, sounds like me. Oh yeah, looks like me. Oh, I understand. It was very funny. And but now coming to the why I'm to the point, I was immediately very interested by okay, what is her what is her profile? Because what is her profile? What should be her energy type? And in the truth, for me, sometimes, especially when you watch television, it's not very clear. But for me, the profile and especially the energy type was they were clear, and I was guessing. And then, of course, I looked it up on my computer on my phone, and it was amazing that I was right. So, because she was telling her story, now, of course, I do not completely know her because I don't know her time, but I do have a clue because um, I definitely I was telling myself, yeah, she must have a six. She is really a role model. She really is because she had a very tough life, especially her childhood was very tough. And so I was thinking, oh, she must have the six in her profile. She must have. For me, that was obvious. And then I was curious, and then I was also I was thinking like, okay, because it's very very harsh, and she experienced so much. I was thinking like she would have a free six, and then I was looking at I was looking in my on my telephone, and yeah, she has either the free six or the 6446, something like that. And I was like, oh, it's nice. I had it right somehow. And of course, a generator, the red energy type, because she has a lot of energy, and and she reminds me of myself. So otherwise, and I have the red energy type as well. So for me, that was an easy one. But the profile, yeah. So this is why I tell you this story. But yeah, it's very funny.
Did you find out her profile though? Her incarnation cross. Sorry.
The incarnation, yes, I found it, and it was very because I have it in my computer. One moment, I need to let me see.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's not the same as you have.
no, it's not. No, it's not the same as I have. No, but I didn't know because I didn't. I don't have it in my phone anymore because I don't think it's very respectful if you. I was just curious and I just looked it up and then throw it away.
No,
So
exactly. And I wasn't clear enough because for me it was more like, okay, is she also the same as you?
yeah,
Because or
no.
has she does she has the same incarnation cross as you? Because that's interesting always to see how they fulfill their purpose and
Oh yeah,
but if she has a different one, then that's totally different. So, but
yeah,
because there are so many similarities, it's always
yeah.
interesting to
Yes,
see
of
where is
course.
it coming from.
But
Yeah,
it's the free. The free is very similar. and
Yeah.
this is very similar. And but if you are talking about similarities about two persons, I have, oh, I have, I have an ex-husband and my boyfriend. They are born on the same day, not the same year, but the same day. Yeah, how coincidence.
Yeah.
And but now it's even better because they have the same energy type, they have the same purpose, they have the same profile,
Wow.
and they have the
Interesting.
same inner truth.
Interesting.
The only thing that's different are the gifts and the talents.
Well, and that makes a big difference usually.
Yeah, it
Because
is,
and your
of course.
purpose is still feel totally different because your gifts
Yeah,
and talents are totally different. But it is
yeah,
interesting that you attract the same kind of energy in your life
yeah,
with those similarities. Interesting. So,
yeah.
if you look from that perspective, would you say that, like me, I was with a person for 20 years, so you learn a lot in that process, and now being with totally someone else, for me it's someone totally different, also in how he behaves and is and whatever. But what I notice is that, being through a relationship with someone else, you're like, okay, wait, I didn't like how that went before, so I'm now going to do it in a different way and to see what happens then, what the experimenting part. So, and even though it shows up different, there's a lot of things that have similarities with with each other. But for you, I can imagine that there might be more similarities, and that you're like really getting the chance to see, like, hey, okay, it showed up like this before, so how am I dealing with this, or how am I reacting to this, or whatever. Is that something that you noticed?
Yes and no. Yes, for yeah, but they are very different because they have a very different awareness level of awareness.
Yeah.
So this is very important. Uh, yes, but you are right because they both have the same. They have a. I think I kind of have a lot of, not a lot, but more people with the cross of Eden. So the cross of Eden means that something huge happens in their life, and they get a second. They lose everything, whatever, and
Uh-huh.
then they have a second time. This is their incarnation cross. Yes,
Uh-huh.
something is happening in their life, and they get a chance to build everything anew. And I also have a friend. I also have a friend with ultraviolet energy type, and she has the same, also the same incarnation cross. And from that perspective, I can compare it, and I see so many similarities. It is amazing, and it's very, very beautiful and very, very interesting to watch them uh, cope with this. And you see, they have their own unique way of uh, creating a new life and creating, coping with what they have to cope. And yeah, it is very very interesting. And yeah, and it's also very interesting with my guys. Yes, they have some similarities, yes, and some, also some negative similarities. And then I know how what works for me and what does not work for me.
Yeah.
So it is, yes. A very good friend of mine, she once told me, Chris, I think you get a second chance. It feels for me. And it does feel like a second chance for me because both men are very, very nice and I love them very much. And of course, I still love my ex on another level, but yeah, he's beautiful and he's the father of my two children. So, yeah, but it is very nice for myself to get a second chance to act differently in coping somehow the same problems, the same challenges. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
very fascinating.
yeah, it's an interesting barometer to see how aware you became in the last years to because awareness helps you do things differently. Otherwise, it's just repeating because
Yeah,
you'll always get similar challenges on your life path until you get, okay, maybe I should try a different approach.
yes,
With awareness, because if you're not aware, you will continue to do the same thing, and even though
yeah,
it's not always directly recognizable, because the situation is always a little bit different, but when you
mhm,
look at the core, the essence is always the same.
mhm,
And yeah, that's interesting for me. But and also interesting because from my perspective and my point of view in life, I always thought that everybody would do that. The like self exam, become aware, and then try to do things differently. And yeah, with the purpose paper reading, I got finally the answer that okay, not everybody is like that, Mariska. So don't expect anybody else to be like you. It can happen, of course. There's people that are doing what I'm doing, but most of them, have total different purposes, total different ways of coping with things. And that's actually one of beauty the beauties from the purpose paper is that that got through to me, that what I find normal, and is also automatically, I don't even have to think about it, it happens. Yeah, that it is not normal for other people. And that was a
yeah,
big thing, because when you look at the world and the people in the world, we all work from the assumption that people are like us, and that they
mhm,
should act or be like us, because we do it, so it's normal that they do it too. And that for me was a big mind shift, to recognize and see like, oh wait, it's not about that at all. We cannot ever expect anybody else to be or do the things that we are doing ourselves, because they are unique, and they are showing up in a different way, and they are becoming aware in a different way, and learning in a different way, and accepting things in a different way. Everything is different. And yeah, that was for me, was yeah, huge when I discovered that. And that's something, actually, looking back at the purpose paper readings I have done, I would say 90% of the people would have the same response to that, like, oh, 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 they are not like that. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's and it's something where you think about it. It's very simple and logical, but I never thought of it ever. Well, it never came to my mind that people have different ways or whatever. Because yeah, we are, of course, conditioned that we need to be the same and do the same to belong to a group. So yeah, it's interesting.
yeah. And Mariska, what is also interesting because I'm learning, I of course have the same thing. I was like, but you do the same. I was really blown away by getting aware of that. I was, oh no, Chris, this is unique. This is unique you. And it is not, it's a talent or it's a gift or whatever. but it also releases me from expectations. But it also, there's also one other thing, and it's going on at the moment, a lot at the moment in my life, because knowing this, it learns me to appreciate myself. And I have a great process by acknowledgement, and I only now have to acknowledge. I'm more and more aware that I need to acknowledge myself, and by knowing that by knowing that I have this kind of talents and gifts, and that it's very that it's beautiful what I do, and and I don't take it for granted, because this is so. I can tell you, I'm honest, guys, with you. Um, I a lot of times in my life I felt that people took me for granted. Um, and I think it is it's I could imagine that a lot of people with a 5 in their profile would experience the same, because people expect us to have solutions out of the box, and we are very fast thinkers out of the box, but also fast thinkers for solutions. So yeah, taking yourself for granted for that, oh, that was a big issue for me. And now, and more I realize that uh, once I know that I have the talents and these gifts, and that is really a gift, and it's really really unique. It helps me to appreciate myself more, and it helps me not taking myself so much for granted anymore. And if you stop taking yourself for granted, you will find that other people won't take you for granted anymore, because you will attract people the
Yeah,
way you think about yourself, or what you ever you radiate, or whatever, how, I don't know, I just radiate. Yeah, and I think this is for me a very huge advantage by knowing this.
yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah, but it's all everything you find within yourself. Even that, so also the taking yourself, appreciate yourself, acknowledge yourself. Uh, it all comes down to you. There's nothing from the outside side that can ever,
No.
make you feel whole, complete, loved, or whatever. But first, you have to do it for yourself, and then the rest will follow. And of course, looking from an energy perspective, that's very logical, because what you focus on will come back, energy wise, because that's the energy that goes out in the world, and it looks for mates. It will look for the similar energy to connect. So yeah, it all starts and stays actually with yourself. It never goes outside it, and that's something that I'm becoming more and more aware of, and I see more and more around. And that's something that I am observing with people around me right now, is to see the energy that goes out and what they are attracting,
Yeah.
and that so many people are looking for answers on the outside, and
Yeah.
encouragement and recognition and love, and well, I can go on and on and on.
Hmm.
And yeah, I do still do it too. I'm human, and I'm been doing that all my life, looking for everything outside myself, and then hoping to feel it myself. By someone loving me, I will finally love myself, not knowing that it has to be the other way around. So, but by observing other people, I can recognize it easier with myself because then I see patterns or I see, hey, wait, and then I think, oh, what? Shit, I do the same thing, And then I'm like, oh, wait, what if I do it then a little bit different, or what if I try it like that, and then that's focused on me. Yeah, it's almost a day job. The observing and seeing how energy shows up in the world, seeing how things are attracted to that energy or disrupted by that the energy is disrupted by other energy. It's yeah, it's very very interesting for me. I love to observe
Mhm.
those things. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'm human, so I'm
Oh,
also
you
you didn't know. I'm an alien.
you are a legal alien. Yeah, you're a Dutch girl in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is interesting. I just made a post about, okay, stop looking outwards, stop scrolling on social media, stop listening to gurus or whatever, because
Yeah.
everything you need it is just right inside yourself. But yeah, it's scary. I get that it's scary to go inwards because you're not used to it.
Yeah.
You don't know how it works. You don't know what will happen. You don't know anything.
Now you
And
can't
it's
blame
always
anyone else
scary.
anymore.
Sorry?
You can't blame anyone else anymore.
No, exactly. It comes with responsibility for
Yeah.
yourself. And
Yeah.
that's scary, that is scary. And also for me, because the knowing is the mind part. You want to get the monster of the mind. Now we feed it and we feed it by looking outwards. And all of a sudden, when you turn inwards, that little monster still taps on your shoulder and wants to be fed. It's shouting in your ear like, "Hello, I need food," and not knowing when you not give in to that, what will happen next? How does that feel? How does your life change after that? You don't know, and the not knowing. Yeah, I have struggled with that because I was someone I needed to know. If I don't know, then I'd rather not go there because what if it's worse? Yeah, and of course you could always also say, what if it's better? But I always went to the other side. What if it's worse? And
Yeah.
now I'm learning to say to myself, yeah, it's probably better if I do it, and then see my life will be better and my friendship will be better. So yeah, it's a big change, and you need to be, or at least for me, I needed to be aware almost constantly because it shows up, yeah, the whole day, every day.
In
In
every corner.
sorry,
In every corner.
yeah, yeah, and it's not challenging now anymore. Well, that's a big saying, but I look at it now from a different perspective. It still is a challenge, but my perspective is, oh, what can I learn from this challenge and how can I improve it? And then I will do it again, but a little bit different, but that's my 1-3 showing up.
Yeah. Yes. And
Yeah,
it's a very big. It's a very important change for acceptance because for you guys and also me, when you have a free, and I think I would say also when you have a 6 in your profile, you can say it's better to say what did I learn from it instead of what did I do wrong, because you don't do anything wrong because you just do your job
yeah,
and it's learning.
yeah. But that's a massive change
Yeah,
in
it's
your,
a massive change, and
yeah,
I think it's a big change to be needed in the world, because especially also in schools or whatever, it
yeah,
is it is really necessary.
yeah, true. No, well, I agree. I totally agree with that. But you know, well, we will get there. If I look at some new corporations, the way they are built and the way they are attracting people that work for them, it is more allowed in those organizations to make a mistake and not be like right away. Especially in America, there was this culture in corporate America. If you made a mistake, you could go. You know, in Holland it's different because we have very strict rules when you work for a boss. You know, they cannot say okay bye bye without notice, and you know there's all kinds of rules and regulations in place. So for the Netherlands it's a little bit different, but for the States, you know, there you can one day show up for work and you made a mistake and they say, okay, pack your bags, you will never have to come back again. And then you're like, what the hell happened now? And you know, so that make I can totally imagine that then you find another job, but that will stick because you know you made a mistake and it led to being fired right on the spot. So that is an anxiety that will go into your body and in your mind as a memory, and the next time you will act different because you want to avoid that kind of situation. And slowly but surely you're putting yourself, you know, a little bit more sand on yourself, and a little bit more sand and a little bit more sand, and then before you know it you have buried yourself under lots of layers of sand, and you're like a puppet doing what they want you to do, but you're so unhappy and you feel so lousy about yourself. And when we start to embrace, you know, in new businesses and in working together with people and whatever, when we start to embrace that some people, you know, definitely with the threes in their profiles, need to make mistakes. They need it. If they don't do it, you can actually almost be suspicious about the outcome, because if they know the answer in one go, then is it really an answer? Is everything really, you know, how do you call that? Trial and error? Because looking back now, everything that I said I knew in that moment, nope. In hindsight, no, you know, in that moment I was like, yeah, but later on I was like, oh no, that was my mind talking because I wanted to be sure about something and I needed to be sure about something. So I didn't give myself room to make, you know, say that maybe there is an error or something like that. And now, yeah, I now, did I tell it? I don't know if I did tell it in the last talk. I know I told you, but I have this new job, and for the first time in my life, I've been hired for all my skills. And almost every talent and skill that I have, I can utilize in this job. And wow, it's so it
Yeah,
feels so good. It really gives you energy. You know, you know that people appreciate what you bring to the table, even though because of my
yeah,
one degree, I have a lot of different skill sets. You know,
mm,
I did a lot of different jobs. I if someone would say, "Oh, are you really specialized in something?" No, but I know a lot about a lot of different subjects, and now all of a sudden I have a job that all those different subjects can be addressed, and I can flourish, and it feels so good. It feels so good. And you know, I am allowed to make mistakes. I am allowed to try out, and then also I I am informing about it though, because that's something that I'm experimenting with right now. Um, that I will say, okay, like I'm designing graphics right now, and with graphic design, I have a vision, and I will put that in graphic design. But then I see all other designs too, for I see one example and then a total different example and then a total different example. And I will make them. And then I say, okay, now you get to choose what feels right or connects with you the most, because I'm just, making my ideas into reality. And, if I see some or missed something or whatever, tell me. I'm open for everything because I make mistakes. And yeah, it's interesting to inform about it because it makes me feel very vulnerable. I find it scary to do it because I'm like, oh, what if they are, going to have all kinds of negative comments about what I made or whatever. So I feel a little bit anxious about it. But on the other hand, I'm also like, yeah, but that's, you know, it's not, I don't have to see it as something negative if they say like, oh, I like this, but I like that font better, or I like that picture better, or whatever. It's not a personal attack for me that I did it wrong. It's something that I can improve upon, and that's also a big difference. Am I doing something wrong, or is someone telling me a possibility that I can improve something? It's a different perspective. So yeah, that's all wrapped in one little jar.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah, I like it very much. And I actually never ever imagined that I would find something like that.
Hmm.
I still had a hard time believing that, being unique, being your authentic self, um, that actually can lead to find things that are really meant to be for you. Because,
Yeah.
most of my life that didn't happen. So I noticed within myself that there is this disbelief deep down inside of me, like, oh, it will probably never happen. And then this job came along, and I was like, what? Wow. Oh, it can happen. So yeah, anybody out there, keep the faith, keep going, keep the faith, because it will happen. Eventually, it will happen. You will get the things on your path that are suited for who you are as a person and what you bring to the table. There's in Holland we have a saying for um, that's more in relationships, but yeah, you could apply it for this too. For every pot there is a lid, and that's for jobs too. So yeah,
It
but
is.
I'm,
It is so funny that you mention it because it was really today in my mind, and like I'm already busy with this, trying to find my way in this matter, in this issue from 2009. And it's so funny, and I was like, okay, uh, I'm ready to make some big steps in on that part on that topic. And because yeah, I try for a long time, I already tried a long time to get my own business, and to yeah, I empower people, and I heal people. I'm a therapist. I'm so many things, but I find it very hard to get it from the ground. This is a Dutch saying. I don't know how you could say that in English, but to create it from scratch. And so I today, actually today I was at that moment to let it go. I said, okay, I let it go. I just let it go, and I'm willing to let everything go. And now you mentioned this. This is very funny. This is how the universe works.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it gives me confidence, but yeah, somehow you have to let go if something is not. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't say that it's not working, but you have to give give the universe the space to yeah, just give yourself the space to become in the flow. So I think something like that. So I will see, but I understand what you mean.
I think this is an interesting point that you bring up because the whole visualization world that's out there, the gurus and the whatever are talking about visualization, is that because I see a downfall in the whole visualization part.
Mm,
And the downfall is that you're so focused on a certain way that it needs to look that there's no space, and you call it space, that's why I like it. There's no space anymore for the universe to show up in different ways that are probably better even for you.
no, not
And
probably. They are better.
they are, yeah, exactly. And people get so, I did the same. I was
Mm,
trying, I experimented with the visualization and whatever. And the more I visualized, the restrictive it got for me. And the funny thing is that the things that weren't really a big a deal in my life, that I only like maybe touched upon in my mind for a moment, those were the things manifesting in my life really quickly, by the way, and always in a way that I would never ever thought of by also. So
yeah, always. Yeah,
and the
yeah,
things that I was so focused on, that like everybody, yeah, you have to do it every day, and you have to, imagine yourself feeling it and doing it and whatever. But for me, it were really restrictive because it closed my mind actually off for all the ways that are possible to receive that in my life. And there's a saying, I think it's in the Bible, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Well,
God works.
God works in mysterious ways. Well, God is energy in my perspective.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
energy works in mysterious ways, and it's always in your best interest, always.
Mm.
And but when we limit our interest, we don't see it. It's like a horse with the things with their eyes. I don't know how you blinders or something. I don't know how it's called, but the horses that have like the things on their heads because they need to walk forward and forward and forward,
Mm.
and not allowed to see on the other side because they get distracted. You don't see what's on your path. You will probably have people or met people or situations, but because you were so focused on how it should present in your life, you didn't see all the other opportunities that were there already. And that's something that I've been really consciously, because I needed really to be conscious of it, because it's very easy to stay in this mode. So I really have to say, okay, the things that I want to attract in my life is, and I let go literally and say to the universe, okay, you know what's best for me, and I trust that you will give and bring that what I need in that moment. And that's different than what I want or how it shows up what I want. Because sometimes you're looking for like a feeling or something, the feeling of belonging, or the feeling of feeling loved, and of course within yourself, but there's this feeling, and we attach certain materialistic stuff to that. But the universe knows that you're not really looking for the car. No, you're looking for that feeling that you think the car will bring you. So
Yeah,
I experienced the universe bringing things on my path that gave me that feeling. that I was longing for. It always showed up in a different way, always. Never as I imagined, like in materialistic or whatever ways, never. So that's something that I'm learning. And that's why, yeah, for me, the whole manifesting and visualizations and I think it's good that it's out there because first start to get aware, it helps you become more aware of things. But later on, it's actually very restricted. So for me, I cannot use it anymore because it's restricting me in all ways possible. So that's my experience. I'm not speaking for someone else, but that's how I experienced the whole manifesting and visualization techniques and stuff like that. But I don't know how is that for you?
It works both ways for me. It helps me to realize what my heart longs for, and it helps me to verbalize it and to put it into perspective. And then it is very, for me, it is very important then to let it go and see how it works. But it is kind of yeah, as a foundation for me, it is very helpful as a foundation, and then let everything go and then see how it will show up in your life.
Yeah,
But it
exactly.
is,
That's what I meant to. Yeah.
yeah, 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 it's for me the same, yeah. And I think it works like that, but it's my truth. It's not the truth, but for me it works like that. Yeah, and it is very important. I think it is very important that we as people, individual. How do you say it? Everybody needs to know what what they are longing for, what they I don't want to say what they want, but what they are longing for, what their heart longs for.
Yeah.
Because as people, we yeah, we forgot this. This is something we in decades we lost this, and we were trained and we were brought up to be for the benefit of all, but not the huh? To behave differently for you do it for someone else. Even the campaigns at the moment, they say if you don't want to do it for
The
your
other.
neighbor, or
Yeah.
do it for someone, or your mother, or do it for no, 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 no. Do this is because it alienates yourself from your longing from your heart. And so I think this is uh, that people were talking about visualizing and things like that. I think it brought the whole topic back about what do I long for, what do I want. And it's okay to long for something, and it's okay to think about you. And now, the more aware you get, the more you know that it's the only way. The only way is first you take care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, you can. And of course, it shows up differently for left angles and for right angles and for juxtaposition the people. Of course, I know, I'm aware of that. But the basic, the foundation is the same. The foundation is the whole you, wholeness. You are okay. You are just okay, just the way you are. And if you find yourself voids in your life, you are the one who has to solve those voids or to fill those voids or whatever. And from a point of wholeness, and we are getting whole more and more. So yeah, then you can share yourself, or share for left angles you can be in service, and for us we can share for right angles, you can share yourself, and for left angles you could be in service as a whole person. This is very important for me. It's a foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a subject coming up, but I think that's not smart to start talking about that right now.
No,
But
you can do it.
one of the things is that I always notice, because you say, you have to be whole yourself before you can be of service to another in full. And one of the things I always noticed in psychiatry is that the psychiatrist actually needs more help than the people they are helping. And I was like, what? How are you supposed to help me if you're messed up like that? There needs to be some kind of inner thing going on first before you can be of service for another person. And that for me is something, it's they are taught through the mind, it's tricks. And I'm not saying that psychiatry is a trick, but I'm saying, you learn tools and tricks
Yeah,
to uh, help people deal with symptoms,
yeah.
and usually it's temporary. And because I hear people go to their psychiatrist, and especially in the States, I hear that way more than in Holland, by the way. But people in the States that I've been going to my psychiatrist for over 5 years, and I'm like, what? Then then something is not right, because then they are not really helping you. If they are helping you,
Five
you only do it
years
a
oh
couple of
my
times
god.
and you move on. You've learned something and you move on. So I'm like, what? that's not that's not how it is supposed to be. If you are getting guidance from someone, they need to guide you in a way that you can do it on your own, and progress in life, and not keep in this void and keep repeating the same thing over and over again. It's stupid. Well, at least that's my perspective. That's fucking stupid. But that's why I said better not go into that, because that's a whole topic on its own.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's you know being of service. That's something I see a lot around me. I did exactly the same, by the way. So one of the things, I survived sexual abuse as a child. I had some really shitty things happen in my life. So for a long time, I was like, "Oh, this is all happening to me because I'm supposed to become this guru that will help other people by how it's supposed to be, or better, or whatever." And the interesting part is that I see that people who've been through a lot have the same sentiment, like, "Oh, I'm probably going through this because it's my purpose to, share that or do something with it." And I'm not saying that it isn't, but what I'm saying is that I was, from my mind, looking, "Oh, I need to be on stage, or I need to do it like this, and I need to do it like that." And not knowing, by the way, back then, that I was the right angle, and that I'm not supposed to go on the stage, or not supposed, but it's not my thing. I can maybe do it one day if my spleen and inner authority is guiding me their way. But for me, it is way more about, having a conversation with someone, and then all of a sudden a certain topic comes up, and then I share my experience. So in a way, I am sharing what I've learned, but I'm not getting paid for that. It's just a conversation that I have in the moment. And for me, for a long time, it was, oh, I need to make money with this because, I've been experiencing this my whole life. So it's my purpose to make money to help people. And letting that go, and that's actually very interesting that I realize right now, letting that go actually resulted in a job that I now have that's totally different. That has nothing to do whatsoever with helping people in that sense. In that sense, I help people, of course, with practical things, uh, but letting that go because I was like identifying with that at some point. Like, oh, I need to do this, and I need to do that, and I need to whatever. And letting go of all that gave me the opportunity to see and also appreciate within myself that, it shows up for me in the moment. And it has nothing to do with making money or whatever. It has to do with who I am and how I show up in life and how I meet the people in life. And that's it. There's nothing more to it for me at least. It is. But it's interesting to see people have the same well, saying exactly the same thing. Oh, I've been through this. So, yeah. And I don't know how they do or deal with this. It's not, but I'm only sharing what for me shows up and how it felt and how it's different and for different for everybody, of course. But yeah, being in service of someone like the greater good, because the left angle is more for the greater good, the community and stuff like that. And I really was, yeah, thinking for a very long time that I was supposed to be that person, for the community, for bigger things. And I don't know actually where that per se comes from. Maybe it is the conditioning also about, doing things for the other, doing there for the other. That there's something there that was conditioned into it. I don't know. But for me, it was very helpful to find out that I'm here only for me. It was actually a relief also to find that.
Yeah, and still I see you doing what you were talking about. For example, we are talking to each other, and by doing that, and if people watch it, you are teaching them.
Yeah, yeah, true. But that's not the intention. You
No,
see, the intention is having a conversation with you and sharing, my experiences and what I feel and see and how things show up in my life. So, but before I would want to do these things with the intention to teach someone,
hmm.
and that's gone. I don't have that anymore. That there's not anything in my mind saying, "Oh, I should share this because it might help someone." In that moment. No, I'm just having a conversation with you, and that's why it works for me and it feels good for me because we are two friends having a great conversation about how we see things, how we experience things, how things show up in our lives, and that's different for me than going live and really have the intention of teaching someone something.
Yeah, like we did one or
Exactly. Yeah.
it didn't work out.
It didn't work out at all, at all. And
And
yeah,
that's
that
so
was a big
funny.
thing, finding that out with that episode. I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 episodes ago or something with the whole chart stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
It was such a good example how that showed up. I was like, wow, it really, it doesn't work. The energy is just like, no.
Yeah, it was imploding.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, because I have a lot of things changing right now in my life. All of a sudden, people looking for me and wanting, have questions about how I do things and did things, and it's probably that energy shift. Like, okay, I'm not here to teach anybody. I'm here to live my life, and when it comes up in a conversation, I can share my experience. So the vibe coming from me is different, has changed.
Yeah, for me it's different because in my purpose, I have to, I can teach people things.
Yeah, but you
Uh,
also have a five.
yes, yeah, yeah. Is that because of that? Yeah.
Yeah. The five is for the interpersonal, so for the community. The three is
Yeah.
for the, and I am a 1-3, so I'm under the four. Everything
Oh,
under
yeah,
the four
yeah,
is only for yourself,
yeah,
100%. Body,
yeah. That's
mind,
true. Yeah, 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 yeah. Completely. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's great.
Yes. Well, oh, we are over time. That doesn't happen a lot. Is there anything you would like to share to conclude our talk today, Chris?
No, I'm okay. I'm fine. It was very nice again.
Well, thank you again
Thank
for
you
your
again.
insights. And well, we hope to see you next week. If there are any questions, be feel free to let them no, not let them, write them down under the YouTube, and we will look at them and refer to them next talk. And if you want to have more information, you can always go to our website. You can see the address, the whole, almost the whole video. I've published it. So go there, see what the latest research is, and you can find a lot of information about your inner authority, your energy field, and how it shows up and what you can experiment with. So, and let us know what you think about it. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye bye.